Hello, welcome to another video in my Sim Cockpit series. It's been a while since I've done anything to my cockpit, but when you have watched my recent videos you might have noticed that especially my old trusty modified Thrustmaster T500 is pretty much dying at the moment. I had similar problems. The quick releases were working sometimes not, and especially the inner mechanics here seem to be a bit broken, so there's a lot of wobble and play in the wheel and overall not very satisfying situation. So I have decided to upgrade finally to an open sim wheel, direct drive, force feedback wheel. Yay! And it has actually already arrived. I've ordered at the guys from Augury in Spain for SimRacingCoach. I think he handles all the different components. There's a guy who makes the wheels, the wheelbases, and there's another one who makes the quick release system. I've also ordered a couple of those because I cannot reuse my current quick release system for this. Oh yeah, so it's here. And I have a lot to do because my cockpit in its current state just is not suited for forces that are modern direct drive open sim wheel kit can produce. I mean, in case you don't know, just very quickly, I will make a separate video about this, but it's basically a very strong industrial servo motor that is able to drive the wheel without any kind of gears between or belt or something. It's just the motor and then directly attached there's the wheel. And it can produce forces depending on the motor pretty much on par with what you would feel in the real race car, which is a lot in some cars. Anyway, my cockpit would be shaken to pieces if I don't modify it, especially the connection wheelbase and the rest. I have to make this a lot stronger. I've already added a couple of things down here, but I have to do more. And then more importantly, I have to separate the whole monitor stand assembly from the cockpit. This is an Obutto Ozone, which still has the monitors attached to the complete cockpit. So I will have to build a new monitor stand basically. I think it's the best solution. Reuse the upper part and then just make feet for the thing. I don't know. I don't know yet. And also I will have to, as I mentioned, I will have to forget about this quick release system. I will have to use a new one. And so I will have to modify all my wheel rims and the pedal shifters and everything electronics. And also, biggest project maybe, let me quickly get this. You might remember this year, as it was a huge project, the Formula 1 wheel. It's already stripped, as you can see. Yeah, I can't reuse this one either. It's plastic. It won't stand up to the forces. So the plan is to build a complete new wheel, reuse the electronics, and it's a construction that I made myself. Yeah, more about that also in a separate video, but that's also part of the project. So a lot of work to do. First thing I did was actually strip down the cockpit a little bit, remove all things unnecessary, but I'm not even close to being finished with that. I still need to remove the wheel, of course, and all the things here.
next step will be to build the monitor stand. So I've been to the store and bought some wood. Yeah, with these pieces I will try to actually build a monitor stand, which will be completely free of the rest of the cockpit. And I actually will try to build it while the monitors are still connected to the rig, and I will replace it step by step. So I will have 2 feet down here going up. The 2 cross beams down there on the upper one, I will, this is actually bad lighting here, the upper one I will mount to these things here, and when everything is mounted I will remove the original tubes here, pull them out of here, if that's possible. If not, I have a problem.
There you go, I really did it. I built myself a monitor stand. In retrospect, I have to say, I should have done a couple of things differently. After a couple of days, I noticed that the whole construction began to sag a bit forward. And that was mainly because of two reasons. First, those metal clamps that clamp the original part of the Obutto monitor stand to my construction, those were a bit too big for the tubes, and I had to put in these metal brackets in between. And those actually caved in a little bit after a while. So I tried to fix this with this screw construction here. It kind of worked, at least I think it stopped the movement. And secondly, using all these metal angle brackets wasn't the best idea. I should have done it properly and drilled through the whole beams and used large bolts to screw it all together. Because the metal brackets were actually a little bit too weak, I think there was a bit of torsion in that cross beam, and there's a bit of a gap between the cross beam and the upright. But I could fix this with these huge clamps here. They're not pretty, but they do the job. So after all, it works. I could, mainly because I could compensate for all these problems with the adjustable feet I put in. Those are really important, and now it's all perfectly fine and I can use it.